We'll just keep it simple like that for now. We'll add complexity as we go. Let's make this a 1 ohm, 2 ohm, and a 3 ohm resistor. What I want to know is what is the current flowing across each resistor? First thing, which way is the current going to flow across the 1 ohm resistor? Across the 1 ohm.
Oh.
I'll go with the spirit of what you just gestured. Yes. Because current is flowing out. I have one battery, one power supply. Current will flow out the big side and flow clockwise. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the current flowing out of the power supply, and to do that I need the equivalent resistance. So I'm going to find the equivalent resistance of that. First thing you need to do when you're finding equivalent resistance, similar to equivalent capacitance, is do we have anything in series or parallel?
Yeah.
What?
2 and 3 are in parallel.
Okay. So I add those in parallel. So this combination, so the resistance of that 2, 3, 1 over the resistance of 2, 3 is 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3, which is 5/6. And so the resistance is 1.2 ohms. So I'm making the claim that I could pull off that 2 ohm and 3 ohm resistor and pop in a 1.2 ohm resistor, and I get just as much current flowing out. So that's now a 1 ohm, and I now have a 1.2 ohm. All right. Now what's the equivalent resistance? I'll cut that. Somebody just said it again? That's 20 volts. So I now simplified it down to a single resistor. I can find the current flowing in and out of the power supply. I know I've gained 20 volts there. I'm going to lose there since I have one resistor. So I see 20. It says 12. 20 over 2.2. That's 9.1.
Yeah.
9.09 repeating.
Nice.
Amperes. 9.09. All right, so that's what's flowing out. So back over to here, I've got 9.09 repeating amperes flowing out of the power supply. That has to be the same current that's flowing across the 1 ohm resistor. And then it's going to split there. But if I know the current flowing across that, I can figure out the potential drop across that. What is the potential drop across this 1 ohm resistor?
Just 9.09 volts.
Yeah, just Ohm's law. So I'm going to lose 9.09 volts. So I gain 20 volts here, I lose 9.09 volts there. So how much am I going to lose across here?
Like 10.91.
So I'm going to lose 10.91 volts there. And so now I can figure out the current flowing across each of these.
So you just take 9.09 divided by 1.2.
No, I'm going to take the 10.91 volts that I have to lose across here and divide by 2 and then divide by 3.
Yeah, sorry, I should know this already, but how'd you get the 10.91 volts?
Because if I start here and I go around and end up back here, my total potential gain
Oh,
is
you just
0.
subtracted it?
Yeah, so
Oh,
20
okay,
minus
okay.
9.09, that's what's left over.
Yeah.
So this is going to be 5.455 amperes. And divide by 3, you'll end up with 3.6.
Yeah.
Now we do a quick double check to make sure that we've done it correct, that things make sense. I have more current flowing across the 2 ohm than the 3 ohm. Check, makes sense. I had 9.09 amperes flowing into this junction, I better have 9.09 total coming out, so if I add those two together, do I get this? And it looks like it's gonna be close enough.
Not quite.
There's some rounding issues. So, I'm feeling good. Obviously, we can get more complex than that.
Yeah, that's not bad, actually.
All right, any questions before we add to it? There's another technique that we'll go over, but for right now, we'll just do the single power supply equivalent resistance. And I hit the blue marker, there we go. All right, so this is just be the teaser. I got a power supply. And then it splits. And resistor there. What is the current flowing across each resistor? That is the problem. Okay, so that's 20 volts. Which is 1 ohm, 2 ohms, 3 ohms, 4 ohms, 5 ohms, 6 ohms.
Should we always start by figuring out the parallel ones first?
Whichever, figure out what's gonna be simple parallel or simple series. It's not always gonna be parallel, it's the simplest. I mean, if I had done this circuit over here, like that, I would have done the series first. All right, so I would recommend, let's find the equivalent resistance, and then we'll work backwards in order to figure out what the current is. However, that is gonna have to wait until next Tuesday.
Can we assume always when things are just in a line like that, they're all parallel?
The only ones in parallel right now are the 1 and 2.
Oh, and not 4 and 5?
No, 4 and 5 are not because there's something else in between.
Oh. Okay.
4 and 5 would be in parallel is if the potential difference between those 2 points was the same no matter which path I took. But that's gonna mess it up.
Okay.
All right. I think that's the end. It's 10:46 according to Verizon.
I don't even know if you'd ever see a picture like this anyway, but if you had the 1 and the 2 like offset from each other on the top of there,
Oh,
would it still count as parallel?
as in,
Yeah, like that.
yeah, that's still parallel.
Yeah.
The wires are all perfect in this situation. You assume no resistance in the wires at all. Or any resistance in the wires is accounted for in whatever these are. All right, so we got a test tomorrow. Yeah, test tomorrow. The following week, we have class on Tuesday, and then I think it's spring break. Is that next week?
No lab next week either?
No lab next week.
3 weeks without lab?
The week after, we will actually do a lab based on content we've covered in class already.
No way.
Yeah, I know, it's a
That's
true story.
insane.
It's just a question of, do I give you the simple one or the complex one?
Could you
That's
find
just-
us missing 3 labs in a week, like in a row like this?
I know it happens, I did not specifically plan. Matter of fact, for one of my classes, I had a test next Wednesday. And then I realized Monday or Tuesday, I realized that was a bad idea. And then Wednesday, a student pointed it out. And,
This doesn't like put us behind on labs or anything?
no.
Is the lab we did a couple of weeks ago, is that due tomorrow, or are we making that due next Tuesday?
It's,
Next lab is.
next time we do lab,
Oh, so
that's gonna
it's
be,
tomorrow.
it's gonna be due the Friday after spring break,
Okay.
officially.
Okay.
If you haven't done now,
I was started.
I'll
putting it off,
you get to put it off longer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I would
Better
figure
or
out
for
the
worse?
study for the test.
Yeah.
I've been putting on my other classes studying for this test too.
Yeah, nothing should ever be due the day of a test.
Yeah.
I didn't even do that calculus assignment,
I
the one
just
that was
knew
all
it was Friday, so.
the entire,
So
assignment
if you
last
go
week
through all
was
those
all
tests,
show your
you-
work ones. I just skipped that
Oh,
assignment.
I would think so.
I already had
also
high
have
enough grade, I was
more
like, screw this.
full
Like-
solutions for 252 than any other
You
course.
skip a
Yeah.
couple, it's not.
Yeah.
It gives you so many more.
What the solutions.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I've just been
make sure
focused on
the
physics, I'm like, I do
solution
not have
should be
time for
posted where
calculus,
actually
so
it's
I just
full
stick with it.
Okay.
If it's
Yeah.
just answers, then I
Waste
just,
my time.
I think I don't think it's not.
Yeah, I mean, that can help.
Sometimes I do my chem lab, I write my chem lab, and it's one of the biggest ones that we have. We have like 20 questions, 25 questions, and it's due in like 3 hours.
Fun, you gonna get it done, or?
I'm gonna have it. Either that or I just ask for an extension.
Yeah.
So sick on classes, but the other one feels like a major waste of time.
It is.
That first question is
The only thing left is differential.
Yeah, you shouldn't be too worried about
I should've took
calculus.
it, I should've took it now, I just don't have to deal with it.
Like, Paul will be harder than this guy has been, but still, the material is not that hard in general, so.
skip one
And it's just basically adding hypertension.
Yeah.
But then you don't even do the crazy stuff in calculus too, with like the sums and.
Yeah.
Yeah, H.
It's just gonna be a matter of, can I
L.
like focus on it, 'cause it's gonna be summer break,
Yeah.
so that's why the biggest thing, but I mean.
That
it's
is
two classes
a,
week, it's not too
very good
bad.
question.
But it's not a couple hours every day.
So is it just hope the answer matches up and that's the right one, or?
Right now, yes. Send me, would you send me an email and say, and just basically, as few words as possible to make me look at that test and the answers?
And, last thing, I've been looking at some of them, I've looked at 2020 and 2021. Do you think it's better to look at one over the other?
Which ones again?
The 2020 and the 2021 tests? Do you think it's better to look at
Was
one?
it spring 2020?
It was, there's summer 2020 and then spring 2021.
Spring 2021, spring 2021, I think was an online, that, some of those questions are just absolutely brutal.
Okay, that's what I heard him saying. He said some of them you just made them harder because it was online.
Yeah. Yeah, like the overlapping spheres. It was the pandemic, that's my excuse. So I would recommend, if it's spring 2020, the first test would have been face-to-face.
Right.
So that would probably be more of an accurate reflection.
Cool. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.